and start assisting in the classes and growing them into instructors. Um, I guess my question is simply kind of what's the structure of the best way to do that? Because since I'm at zero, right now it's, they come in, I teach them kind of how to teach, then they have their set times that they come in and assist with the classes. But besides that, I don't really have a structure to it. And that's my question is what structure do you guys
How to
use?
start.
How to start it and what are things that I should have in place?
Okay. One of the things that I've found to be the most successful in taking people from point A to point B and beyond is having a direct plan for them. So they know once I check these boxes and have approval from you, then I'm ready to move on to the next instructor level.
Right.
And you can start people because you're starting, not everybody in your group is starting at the beginning.
Hmm.
You have people that are in there, so you can kind of place people. And there's 5 levels for the instructor training program. So you can
Okay.
say, it looks to me like I'm going to start you at level 3, and but I want you to work up. And even if you have your certified instructor, your main guys, it wouldn't hurt to put them at least one level below the finish line to
Right.
have them kind of study and work so they know the program too. Um,
Mhm.
and then your new guys, of course, could start at the beginning, or you can have that freedom. But let me do the Google Classroom, and while I'm loading that up, Keith, if you want to add to that, and
Yeah, and to clarify, you're looking for structure of the progression of your instructors. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, where we are now is, I teach the majority of the classes with Mr. Angel that's here. You guys know Sebastian. And then we have two other instructors that, I guess it would be instructors, just not quite head instructor yet. They struggle with the larger group.
Hmm.
But we have a bunch of teens that are coming up that they're already black belts. They finished our program, and a bunch of teens, I would say, between the age of 11 and 15 that are
Hmm.
coming up, and they've shown a lot of interest in becoming instructors and the certification program and kind of how to take those kids that by the time they turn 15, 16, which we have one of them now, to say, hey, you're ready for a class.
right.
So
I've
that's
got. Oh, go ahead, Keith. Sorry,
just
I'm
real
ready to
quick.
share whenever you are.
Gotcha. And you can go ahead and share if you want. And then I think that's awesome. We have a lot of levels because we want, I mean, as soon as you see that potential in a student wanting to, you know, they have the qualities of a good instructor and they have good energy and you see that potential in them, so we have 7-year-old brown belts or blue belts that
Hmm.
are starting their instructor training. We have
Okay.
obviously it's a juniors class, and then we have level 1, 2, 3 for our juniors. And then once they turn 12 or 13 and they're in our adult class, then we have with what my mom's going to go over here, the a teen and adult instructor program, and you have the 5 different levels. And then we use so every level they have to do volunteer hours, a written test, a physical test to move up in their levels. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
and which mom will go deeper into, and there's five of these levels. Um, and we use collars as to signify what level they are. So we
Hmm.
use the collar system. I know some people use chevron systems on the sleeve.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, whatever. Some people use different color pants.
Yeah.
It's honestly whatever fits good for you and your academy.
Okay.
You know, to signify what level they are. So
Right.
So all of the information on that is on the Google Classroom, and I can go over how to get in there and utilize that later if you want to.
Yeah.
But I've gone ahead and opened it up, and in your Google Classroom, you have the teen and adult instructor training, and you also have the junior leadership training. Those
Got it.
two. So the teen and instructor training, go to the classwork, and in the introduction is the outline of the 5 different levels. So
Mhm.
that's something you can print off and give to them and say, here's Here's the 5 levels and what's expected of you. And then we have level 1, and each level has the same components. They have the manual, which is, I print this off and give to them, everyone that's in level 1. And it has what's expected of them. And I start this one with etiquette and appearance and some of the things that you want to make sure that they present themselves properly. And then in each manual, there are 3 sections. There's a teaching skills section.
Mm-hmm.
This is the part that helps them be a good teacher, as far as structure goes.
Right.
And then there is a people skills. So every manual has how to relate well to people,
Mm-hmm.
and they have that. And then the 3rd section is a leadership skill, how to be a leader, things that, a very, like you were saying, very structured way to teach them to
Yeah.
teach. So
Yeah.
you've got teaching, people, and leadership skills in every manual.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I love it. I'm gonna go nerd out on this after the meeting.
yeah, absolutely. I do too.
Mhm.
So that's what I give to the student. I print that out and say, okay, here's your manual. And I have a date that I expect them to be able to complete it. I have set test dates
Yeah.
set out on the calendar. And then each level also has this component, the class planners. So the class planner is for you, and it matches the manual. So these are your lesson plans. So that manual, we started with the teaching skills. So this gives you a 20-minute lesson on teaching what they have in their manual. And every section has that. So there's 4 different teaching skills. And then you have your people skills that you get into. So you have plenty of lessons.
Yeah.
So you just go through this, and of course you'll have your own flavor and things that are important to you, but you have the lesson plan for every manual.
Yeah. Would that be like a curriculum that I teach to them?
Yeah,
Basically.
so I have my manual, and when I have instructor training, we just go through and say, okay, the next lesson. And I have all instructors, no matter what level they are, I block the instructor training program just like I do anything else. So as far as, curriculum. So I might break off into different sessions, like sections of, okay, I want you guys to work on this, but as a main lesson, the 20 minutes of that class, we're all working on the same thing. And then so you have your lesson plans, your structure. Each one also has a written test if you choose to give it. I like all elements, because if somebody's strong in one area, that's all they can do well at. I like to see their physical stuff, all their curriculum. I like to see them teach, even if it's just helping one-on-one as they're learning how to do it. And I like them to take a written test. So they have a physical, a mental, and then practical application of what they've been learning. Sure, they can write it on paper, but can they perform it?
Yeah.
And so they have a written test that matches their manual. So it just goes right along with everything. And I've already done all the math for you in terms of what each question's worth.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, you have the answer key. So you don't have to go back
Okay.
and
Yeah.
read everything.
Got it.
So you got all that, and you've got all the levels. The only one that's a little bit different is level 5. And at this point, these are your, guys that you feel ready that they're at the top, and I actually have them write an essay, and they have to teach classes. I grade them watching them teach class, and if they do that, they write their essay, and then once I approve them after they've taught so many classes that I've observed, then they become the level 5 to me. So
Yeah. So is the test based on the manual, right?
it is,
Then
yeah.
they learn them. You give them the manual, they learn the manual, and then the tests are over the manual.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. And then do you have like a time frame on how long you
So,
should be going through these levels?
so let's say you have your young guys, like your 11, 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
They might be able to get through level 1 and 2. I wouldn't let them do it too close together. I'd say at least, 6 months for each one, spread it
Okay.
out. But after that, I like them to be at a level for 12 months.
Right.
So level 3, level 4, so let's say they're 13, they can test for their level 3, and when they're 14, level 4, 15, so you get your 15 and 16-year-olds should be testing for certified instructor at that point.
Yeah.
So I like them to be 16 years old before I say, okay, you are an instructor.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
And that's the toughest one, so right now we're actually testing a few of ours for their certified instructor. And one of them is very close to passing. Another few, they've taught a few classes. We've given them some feedback and we did not pass them. They need to there's some things in their teaching that we wanted them to improve on and fix. Um, so we gave them a week or two off from teaching, and then they're gonna teach another few classes coming up, preparing for that. And we'll continue that process as long as needed until they're teaching classes that we, you know,
Yeah.
are okay with being in the school, so we're pretty strict on that.
Hmm.
Well, and that's where, I had let's see. I'm gonna stop share. We had um we had an instructor uh training, and as far as the written test and their physical skills, they've done excellent at. And then they get out front to teach and they're not quite loud enough or charismatic enough and that sort of thing. So that's why I like the three components of it. They don't feel like they're being unsuccessful because they did well in the other elements, but we just want all three. So
Yeah. Um, and when in a for example, we have the master's leadership program. They meet 3 times a week, and they're an hour-long classes. Are you teaching some of these things on the full hour, or are you teaching this in 20 minutes and move
So yeah, so what I
curriculum?
would do in that situation, I like to break the class up into three elements, so I have 20 minutes of the teacher training,
Mm-hmm.
so you'd pick one of those lessons. I do 20 minutes of curriculum review,
Okay.
and then I like to have 20 minutes of just something all out that's just for them, workout, special training that just they get, that
Okay.
physical element. So it still kind of follows the same pattern of the mental training, which is the teaching part, the
Yeah.
physical, and then something all out just for them. And that's what I do in the hour. Now, since you're doing it 3 days a week, I would just do the same as far as the teaching lesson. I would do the same lesson every class all week
Yeah.
and just repeat it and refresh and don't try to do 3 lessons in one week, but just do the
Yeah.
same one
Right.
in each class.
I would like to clarify something because I know you said that was your master's program, and
Yeah.
our master's program is our highest level program as well.
Mhm.
Um, uh, we do some teaching drills in there, but that's not our instructor program. So our instructor program is our juniors, 12 and under. They meet once a month on a Friday, and then our teen and adult leadership instructor class, they meet every Tuesday night. And if they're in that program, we just require that they come to two a month, um, 2 Tuesdays a month on every week. So I
Okay.
just um, I just wanted you to kind of know how we had set ours. It doesn't, obviously you can do whatever makes sense
Yeah.
for your academy,
Yeah.
but
I mean, I don't know how you guys have it structured. I'd like to know. The way we do it is we have the basic class, the black belt training, to black belt, and then the masters, which is black belt and above, or brown belts, or some kids that are showing really good promise towards that, and they learn how to teach and kung fu and stuff like that. So those are the three programs that we have. I don't know
Yeah,
if you have it.
it's very similar. It's just I think the only difference is we kind of handpick the people we want to be in the instructor training program, and
Mhm.
I pull them from the master's class and
Okay.
say I'm inviting you to this special instructor training class that meets every week. So
Yeah.
but if you've got them training to be instructors in your master, if that's part of their master's
Yeah,
training,
you guys have it as two separate things.
yeah.
Okay. Makes
hmm
sense. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that works great too. So.
Yeah. I mean
I
I
mean,
guess
it's great
yeah.
value. I mean, even if they don't become instructors, learning how to be one, is great.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah. Obviously. Those are things I talk to parents all the time. It's like, hey,
Yeah,
communication skills. So
I just
absolutely.
I just wanted you to be aware of how we run it, and that it is a separate. That way you kind of
yeah.
know how we're thinking about it, and then you can see how it would work best for your academy and your schedule.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely.
So I was gonna go over today, kind of open it up, and you did that, Chris, open it up to conversations, which is great. But also any problems that anybody might be having, like that we could discuss as a team if you're having a certain issue and with an either it could be an individual, like how do I get them from this place to this place? I'm struggling with, how to help help them, or maybe just as in general, like scheduling, how do I schedule things out? Or, you know,
Mhm.
you give these guys this manual, how do you make sure they complete it? So I just thought what we could open it up, and if anybody has any things they want to talk about that way. So I don't know,
Um,
Master Kim, if you had anything.
No,
Not
uh,
today. Okay.
not today.
I
No
mean, I can
problems.
keep
Good.
That's
going with the
great.
That's a
questions.
good thing. All right, keep going, Chris.
I can keep going with the questions.
Go right ahead.
Like I said, I got like 3 months of pent up questions.
Okay. All right.
So,
That's good.
Oh,
yeah, let me think, let me pick. Um, uh, yeah, I guess, um, you know, I mean, for example, and I'd like to get your take on it. I think I know what the answer is as far as our fault, but we have a hard time sometimes with kids that say they want to come to help teaching and they're qualified enough, and you have kids that kind of take the reins and can assist really well and they're really charismatic, and then some kids that they just kind of sit and fix their gi in the corner, right? So we have those end spectrums, and I'm slowly taking them from here to there, but the thing I've noticed is um for lack of, I guess, of scheduling sometimes is they show up, they don't show up. It's like it seems like it's not being taken as seriously as I wanted to, which I understand is my fault, but how can I kind of reframe that to it's like, hey, if you're coming, this is your class, this is your time, this is your spot. You're responsible for that spot. It's not, let me come in and help out. I don't know if you guys ever dealt with that, but
yes.
that's where I feel like I'm like, you can't just show up and help out,
Right.
and it's not,
Right.
and I don't even like that terminology, help out, it's not
Right.
that. So yeah, so if you could speak to that a little bit, that would help me.
That was it was probably about 6 years ago or so. Was having the same issue, and I reached out and got some really good advice, and it's been good advice to follow. Um, One, since you've got this culture already that you want to change.
Mm-hmm.
So what worked well for me was to have uh, just a special seminar. We're all coming together and have something exciting to bring them in, and
Mm-hmm.
something fun for them to do, and then go over the kind of that building and creating the team spirit. And here's how you guys can help me, and I need you to do this, this, and this, and have your schedule ready, and say
Yeah.
and let them know you depend on them, and if they can't come, they need to call in and say they can't come to work that day, you know
Right.
and then I have their I have each helper instructor in training.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Their name is on a poster out in the school, and it has all their volunteer hours on there. So they have their name and they're responsible for putting the check in the checkbox, you know.
Okay.
And like I assisted with class today, and you can even put those words up there to change it from helper to class assistant and or instructor in training. And so now they have to clock in essentially,
Yeah.
you know, and that kind of having that big meeting, you know, coming in and everybody training, and then, okay, guys, here's some new things we're gonna do, you
Hmm.
know, and send something home with the parents if you have those young guys. And we're excited about, you know,
Yeah.
being able to see what our leaders are doing and counting your volunteer hours towards the next level, and just kind of presenting it as um, a new fun thing. And then you could even have that day you give them their manuals, you know, and
Yeah.
say, let's
I
get
like,
started.
kind of Keith, you were saying that, because for example, one, I think that will, if we have a meeting, a seminar, something to get them excited, I'd like to get them also their level that they're currently at. I'm looking at these
Oh, that's
chevron
good.
things that I just have, but um, you know, I is I guess, yeah, assigning them their level then and there so we
Hmm.
can have a
That
base
would
to
be
start
cool.
from, um and do that. I'm just trying to figure out what these are because these they
I've seen those. We were actually looking at some different patches and stuff too. And those, what do they say? Like
they all
assistant
say assistant
instructor.
instructor. Well, see, I guess I'm sure there's like the one, the two, the three, the four.
Yeah, they have those.
Yeah,
I
I
think it
might
was
look into.
Asian World Martial Arts had those, or Century Martial Arts.
Yeah,
And
these
they
are
have
from
the
Century.
different, yeah, they have the different ones.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna look into what I can get them that has some, because I think that's important for the kids to feel like they've earned something,
Yeah,
some sort of certification. Um, yeah, so thank you for that. That I think, yeah, I already scheduled it out. Miss Angel's nodding at me like, yeah, like,
yeah, that doing something big to make a cultural shift, you know, and setting a new standard. That because it's sometimes I get stuck in the I'm frustrated with you, but I haven't really, like you said, it's on me. I haven't really told them, you know, hey, here's the expectation.
yes,
I just
yeah,
expect them to learn through seeing us, but
yeah,
that doesn't work.
yeah. Have you guys ever have you guys, I have some kids that I'm sure everybody's instructor seen it, they're charismatic, they're loud, they have that, they're extroverts, they get it right away.
Hmm.
And I have some of these kids that are, a little bit more quiet, a little bit more shy, a little bit more reserved. Have you guys ever seen them, or what's your approach with those kids? Because the way I tell them, I was like, hey, you're on stage, you gotta kind of turn it on. It's okay to be shy. You gotta learn to kind of perform, as the
Hmm.
instructor. I don't know how you guys approach that, but I have, including one of my instructors, like on as an instructor, I would want him to be more outgoing. Have you guys had any success with taking people and making them that way, or it's just kind of that's their personality?
Now, I think two things, and I'll let Keith take it from there. But one, I think it can definitely be taught, and I've seen it over and over again. Um, the other thing is focus on that might be what you consider a weakness, and it is something that you want to develop because you can't have people follow you if you're not leading.
Mm-hmm.
But also look at what are their strengths and try to focus and help them build those strengths.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they might not be charismatic, they're very caring or something like that, and help them build those, which will build their confidence. But Keith, if you want to take it, because it is something we work on constantly too.
Oh, 100%. I still want the majority of our staff to be more animated and more energetic, in front of the kids. But I also look back at myself, and it took a long time for me to grow into that. And, um, you know, it wasn't natural for me. I had to learn how to have that presence, and so I try to remember that. And we have, many stories. One of them just graduated and moved off. Her name was Hannah, the quietest instructor we ever had. She ended up being just an amazing instructor. She with another instructor. They pretty much ran our 4 and 5-year-old program. And it was just awesome. I mean, like for her to go from just being so quiet but what we did, we're just really patient with her. Like Mom said, we found some strengths for her to do. She was great with the young kids at like 2, 3, or 4 at a time. So like, we just started her with real small groups and just really patient with her.
Okay.
Actually, one of our instructors that is doing very well. The first class he helped me with the cyst. He like hid behind the pole and like he wouldn't, he was like 14 years old and that was 4 years ago. And then to like this week, he's like teaching classes, just killing it,
Okay.
just doing awesome. So I think finding their strength, being patient with them, setting, when you see that, like, okay, we have a long way to go. Well, start setting
Yeah.
little baby goals,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
hey,
So
you taught
patience, patience.
patience, patience and little goals, like,
Yeah, patience and little goals. Yeah.
uh,
Makes
but
sense.
we've seen it. And I wouldn't say it's 100% track record, but you definitely, the ones that want it, if you can
But
see it that they want it, yeah,
yeah.
just be patient with them. And then the last thing I wanted to note on your scheduling, one thing that we do with our younger ones is because you don't want 10 kids to show up to help
Yes.
with a class.
I had that problem 2 weeks ago. I mean, it worked out. It worked out because I gave them a pep talk, and then in the pep talk, they all showed up, which I realized I should have scheduled it, but gave them a pep
Yeah.
talk Monday. On Tuesday, I had 12 in the class, and I was like, I guess we're all holding pads for the,
Yeah.
20 white belts with 15 black belts.
Which is cool, which is cool. But yeah, sometimes it can be more work managing the assistants uh than the class. So we'll have 3 slots. And
Mhm.
so now we've got our paid staff members, then we've got some adult volunteers, and then I got my, younger kids that are learning to be instructors. We'll have like 3 slots that they got to sign up for.
Mhm.
And so that way when they're signing up, the parents are usually signing them up because they know the schedule. I'm like, and it's important, guys, that you guys show up because, if you can't show up, I got somebody else that wants to take your spot,
Mhm.
and then it puts a little pressure on them to make sure they show up and do it. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how we manage, which, wasn't a problem until all of a sudden your instructor program grows and you got 25 kids in there and you got 12 kids showing up to help with the class. It gets,
Yeah.
that's a little much. So anyway, we'll have like 3 slots on a piece of paper for each class, and they just sign up for the ones. Now we've had to put a limit, like you can do, 1 a week because
Yeah.
there's so many kids wanting to help and stuff like that. So
Got it. That's super helpful. Thank you guys.
yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's really fun to watch the students grow. And you're right, some of them are natural and they have that,
Mhm.
natural charisma already. And then some of them surprise you. Like I've got a little boy, I don't think he said 10 words in the years he's been training to me. And then he joined the program and I said, okay, I want you to get up front and lead this exercise. And he was like loud. He was like, I was just shocked. So
Awesome. Yeah.
that was fun. Yeah. So,
Yeah. It's awesome to get those fun surprises.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Amanda, will I have I guess that Google Classroom thing with the levels, did you send that, I guess, to Sebastian's email? You have access to,
I
okay.
did.
Okay.
And do
I'll
you have it?
yeah,
Okay.
I have access to his stuff, so I'll
Okay.
take a look at it through there.
Yeah. And let me know if you have any troubles or anything. So, and Chris, can you give me your email address one more time? Because
Yeah.
I emailed you today, but it bounced back. So I must have wrote something
It's
wrong.
Chris with CHRIS at samurai-inti.com. It's the same Samurai Inti as Sebastian's, but it says Chris in the front.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. I'll make sure I get that fixed then. All right. Well, if there's nothing else for today, we'll call it a day. Master Kim, you have anything to add?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I won't be on the meeting next Monday. I'll be out of town.
Okay. All right. Well, have a good trip. I hope it's a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. All right, and
All right.
we'll see you guys. Y'all
Bye,
have a
guys.
great
Thank
day.
you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
See you
thank you,
guys.
take care.
Have
Bye.
a good one.